Discover the incredible journey of a 12-year-old boy who sold his last shirt to save his mother. Marcus Johnson stared at his faded blue superhero shirt hanging on the back of his chair, its fabric soft and worn, like a hug from a loved one. It was his last shirt, the one with a symbol that whispered hope amid the chaos of life in Detroit's worn-down neighborhood. To him, it wasn't just clothing, it was a shield against the world, a powerful reminder of the dreams he and his mom, Angela, shared. But reality tugged at him, pulling him toward a decision he never thought he'd face: selling the very thing that held up his childhood. Angela worked tirelessly as a waitress, juggling 2 jobs, her hands often tired and shaky, eyes drooping with exhaustion. Each month, the stack of utility bills grew like ominous shadows in their tiny apartment, and it suffocated Marcus as he realized his mom's health was slipping away. He longed to help her, to see her smile without the weight of worry pressing down on her heart. The upcoming school fundraiser was supposed to help families like theirs, and suddenly, it felt impossible for Marcus to walk away without making a sacrifice. As he walked the halls of school, his chest felt tight, and laughter echoed cruelly against the jagged walls. His beloved shirt was gone, and in place of comfort, he wore a simple undershirt. Marcus hid his arms as kids passed by, some whispered, others pointed, their laughter piercing through him. Would they ever understand? Did they see the sacrifice he made for his mother? It was in this moment of despair that the school librarian, Ms. Lopez, called his name. "Marcus, you okay?" Her eyes were like warm cocoa on a winter day, and he felt a flicker of solace. "You're brave for helping your family. I'm proud of you." After her words, he found an unexpected ally in Lucas, a quiet boy with a tender heart. "I get it, man," he said softly. "Sometimes, we have to show real strength." Those words struck deeply, making him believe, even just for a moment, that sacrifice can shine a light amidst darkness. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the day pressed on, Marcus's heart was heavy with doubt. Was letting go of a piece of his childhood worth it? Just then, he stumbled into Mr. Thompson, the grizzled war veteran who lived down the street. The man caught Marcus off guard with a boisterous laugh that turned into a gentle smile. "Kid, life can feel like a battlefield, but it's the choices we make that define us." They spoke for what felt like hours. Marcus felt his fears unfurling, replaced with a growing understanding of duty, loyalty, and the power of community. Yet, the whispers of doubt remained. Just as he thought he had it figured out, what did it mean to sacrifice for family or dream of a brighter future? A loud cry pierced through the air. A neighbor was calling for help, unraveling his carefully woven thoughts. It was a moment, raw and real, nudging Marcus back to his crossroads. Would he answer the call, or would he step away, leaving that ache in his heart? The choice was as heavy as the world on his shoulders. Marcus felt his heart race as he turned toward the sound of the neighbor's cry. It wasn't just a shout, it was a plea, a cry for help that sliced through the dull ache in his chest. He stumbled toward the doorway, the small familiar space of their apartment suddenly feeling constraining. A rush of adrenaline kicked in. He had to act. He pushed through the wooden door and stepped onto the cracked sidewalk, the sun glaring down, reminding him of the heat building within him. The sound led him to Miss Harper's apartment, an elderly woman who lived alone. He remembered seeing her sitting on her porch, watching the world go by with a warm light in her eyes. Today, however, that light was flickering. When he reached her door, he found it ajar. Panic swelled within him, and instinct kicked in. "Miss Harper." He called out, rushing inside. The room was cooler than outside, but the air felt thick with urgency. There she was on the floor, a potted plant knocked over, soil scattered like dark confetti around her. "Marcus," she groaned, her face pale. I slipped. "Oh dear." He knelt beside her, his breath coming in sharp bursts. "Hold on, I'll help you." Trembling, he gathered his strength and gently helped her sit up. Her frail hands twisted in pain, and he could see the worry etched on her face. "I didn't mean to bother anyone, dear," she whispered. "Just a little fall, just a little," but he shook his head, his mind racing. "You're not a bother. You need help." Marcus took a deep breath, steadying himself. "Let us get you to the couch." Putting his arm around her, he hoisted her gently, feeling the weight of her body lean against him. Slowly, together, they managed to get to the sofa. Miss Harper looked up at him with gratitude shimmering in her eyes. "Thank you, sweet boy," she murmured. Something in her expression clicked inside Marcus, a deeper understanding of what community truly meant. Suddenly, the door swung open with a crash. Mr. Thompson appeared, his face a mix of alarm and determination. "What happened?" His voice boomed through the room. "Just a little fall," Marcus said, his voice steadier than he felt. "I helped her up." Mr. Thompson rushed over, a reassuring presence as he checked on Miss Harper, his gentle hands assessing her condition. "Marcus, you did well, lad. You were brave." Those words fluttered in Marcus's heart, a balm against his insecurities. For the first time that day, a flicker of pride replaced the loneliness he had felt. But he couldn't shake the shadow that loomed over him. The thought of his mother back home, the bills piling up, the dreams they shared, he could feel that burden return. Just then, Marcus noticed the tiny plant that had fallen, its once vibrant leaves now drooping. His thoughts shifted. "Miss Harper, I know how to help you with this." He took a cloth and began cleaning the mess, his mind racing with ways to beautify not just her space but maybe even their own. Ideas of selling flowers, making small crafts, anything to lift their spirits and ease their struggles began to dance in his imagination. As moments passed, smiles returned to Miss Harper's face, and his heart surged with a new determination. Maybe it wasn't just about what he could sell or sacrifice, but what he could create for those around him. Suddenly, a new realization settled deep within him. What if I could start something bigger? Marcus could feel the ripple of something great about to unfold. But what would it take to turn that thought into reality? He looked between Mr. Thompson and Miss Harper, excitement bubbling beneath the surface. The future stretched out before him, full of possibilities. An idea was forming, one that could light the way not just for him but for everyone in their community. What if he could create something that brought all their hopes to life? Marcus sat on the floor, staring at the scattered soil while Miss Harper settled onto her sofa. The weight of his thoughts pressed heavily against him. He looked around her small apartment, filled with memories only she could touch. Old photographs hung on the walls, scenes of laughter and joy that stood in stark contrast to their present struggles. What could he create to fill their lives with hope again? Maybe a community garden, he muttered, half to himself. Yeah, fresh flowers and veggies. I could get everyone involved. The idea brightened his spirit, but another thought quickly dampened it. How could he finance such a project? His mind raced with possibilities as he knelt to clean up the fallen plant. "Marcus," Miss Harper's voice pulled him back. "Are you sure you're all right? You've got that faraway look again." He turned to her, finding comfort in her gentle eyes. "I'm fine, Miss Harper. Just thinking. What's stirring in that brain of yours?" she asked, a hint of humor threading through her speech. "I was wondering what if we could all come together, you know? I don't want you to feel alone in this. I want to help our neighbors too." His words spilled out, excitement overtaking him. "I could ask around, get people together for a garden or maybe a little market." The warmth in Miss Harper's gaze ignited a surge of confidence in him. "I think that's a splendid idea, dear. A way to brighten the days and people's spirits." He felt his heart pound again, but this time it was with hope. Really? Of course. But remember, dear, dreams take time and effort. You'll need more than just a great idea. Yes, I know. He could feel her wisdom flow through him. Planning, gathering supplies, reaching out for help, it would require more than he had ever attempted. But he couldn't keep quiet any longer. Mr. Thompson. Marcus called, rising to his feet as he opened the door to find the man still outside, collecting himself. You think the folks around here would want to help us start a garden? Mr. Thompson raised an eyebrow, a smile creeping onto his face. I think they'd be on board if you lead the charge. What do you mean? Marcus asked, hopeful. I mean, young man, you have a way of making people believe in good things again. You've already taken the first step by helping Miss Harper. This could be your next one. The words wrapped around Marcus like a warm blanket, and he felt a flame of purpose light inside him. This was his chance to change not just his life, but everyone's. He imagined the garden bursting with colors, laughter ringing through the community, and faces lit up with possibilities. Okay. He exclaimed, clenching his fists in determination. I'll make a list and talk to everyone. We can set a date to start. Ms. Harper's eyes sparkled with delight. That's the spirit, Marcus. Why not let everyone put their favorite flowers or veggies in the mix? Yes. And we can have a little market on weekends too. Excitement coursed through him. Just the thought of it made Marcus feel lighter. But beneath the thrill, a lingering question hung in the air. What if the community didn't respond? What if fear or doubt silenced their hopes instead of uniting them? As Marcus turned to face Mr. Thompson and Miss Harper, a new wave of determination washed over him. I have to at least try. Absolutely, Mr. Thompson replied, his tone serious yet encouraging. But remember, there will be challenges. Marcus nodded but could barely contain the fire within him. I'm ready for them. We have to be brave. The work ahead loomed darkly yet enticingly in his mind. The worry of failure danced with the excitement of intentions, feeding the fire in his heart. Then let's get to work. Marcus said, a smile breaking across his face. As the three of them began to plan, Marcus felt clarity wash over him. Somewhere in this messy process of trying to build a community, perhaps he would find a way to lighten his own burdens as well. But before they could set a full plan in motion, a distant sound caught Marcus's ear, a desperate commotion, a call for help that broke through his excitement. Did you hear that? He whispered, his heart quickening once more. He knew this was a moment that could change everything. What lay ahead was unknown, but he felt ready to confront whatever challenge awaited him. Marcus turned towards the window, the chaos outside intensifying. Shadows moved like a wild dance, and the sounds became clearer, a mixture of shouts and urgent pleas. What is happening? Miss Harper asked, worry knitting her brow. I don't know, but it sounds serious, Marcus replied, moving swiftly toward the door. He felt a surge of adrenaline racing through him, propelling him to step outside and see for himself. As he opened the door, he could see a group gathering around the old oak tree that had stood for decades in the neighborhood park. People were pointing, their faces a blend of fear and curiosity. Marcus pushed through the small crowd, his heart thumping a wild rhythm. When he reached the front, he saw Mr. Evans, a man known for his gruff demeanor, was on the ground, clutching his leg. His face twisted in pain, the skin around his ankle already beginning to swell. Marcus instantly recognized the desperation flooding the scene. Someone call an ambulance. A voice shouted from the back. Hang on, Mr. Evans. You'll be okay. Someone else chimed in, their voice trembling. The urgency in the air felt thick, almost suffocating. Marcus. It was Mr. Thompson, his tone laced with concern. Help us. We need to keep him calm until help arrives. With a deep breath, Marcus knelt beside Mr. Evans. Hey, Mr. Evans, he said softly, just breathe. I'm here with you. His fear of failure crept back in, but he pushed it down. There was no time for doubt. Mr. Evans looked up, his eyes reflecting pain and apprehension. "I can't move, Marcus. It hurts too much." "Okay, we're going to figure this out together," Marcus assured him, his voice steadier than he felt. "Can you tell me what happened?" "I slipped bad footing. Just got done picking up groceries," Mr. Evans gasped, his breaths coming in quick bursts. "All right," Marcus encouraged, "let us keep your leg still. Can someone please grab some towels? We need to elevate it." He glanced around, the crowd's faces mirrored a mix of admiration and disbelief. As two neighbors rushed to get supplies, Marcus glanced at the familiar faces around him. Each person, scared and uncertain, looked to him, a 12-year-old boy, as if he held the solution. "What else can I do?" he thought, his mind racing. Ms. Harper's reassuring voice broke through the heaviness. "Just be yourself, Marcus. You're doing great," she urged, giving him a smile that brightened the grim moment just a bit. With towels in place and Mr. Evans' leg elevated, Marcus realized he was doing something important. The realization sparked something else within him: he could be a leader in more ways than one. Minutes felt like hours before the sirens finally wailed into the distance, but he held Mr. Evans' hand tight. Despite the surrounding urgency, a flicker of hope welled up in him. Somehow, even now, he felt that community garden gaining life. As the ambulance arrived and the paramedics took over, a sense of pride washed over Marcus. He knew that forming connections and helping others were part of creating that safe space he dreamed about. "Just wait until we have our garden," he thought, a smile breaking through. "It will bring everyone together." And then a voice rang out from the crowd, curious and loud above everything else. "What are we going to do about the garden now?" Marcus took a deep breath. He hadn't thought about that. What if they didn't know how to come together again? What if today changed everything? Maybe, he pondered, looking around at his neighborhood, we could plant something right here. The idea sparked his spirit anew, but the looming question felt heavy: would they believe in it enough to follow him? Marcus stood there for a moment, the energy of the crowd swirling around him. The paramedics were taking control, their efficient movements bringing a sense of calm. Yet, his thoughts remained tangled in the question that had just been raised: how could he rally everyone together to make that garden a reality? As he shifted his weight, he caught the eyes of several neighbors: Mr. Thompson, Miss Harper, and a few kids from school. Their expressions were a mix of gratitude for his help today and uncertainty about what the future held. They were all grappling with their own worries, just like him. What if we took Mr. Evans's accident as a sign? Marcus blurted out, surprising himself. The faces turned toward him, no longer distracted by the injury, all suddenly listening. What if we used this moment to create something positive? This garden could be a place to come together, a place to heal. A murmur sparked among the crowd. Some exchanged nods, others looked skeptical. "Yeah, but," a voice called out from the back. It was Sarah, a neighbor his age. "What if no one wants to help? What if nobody cares?" Marcus felt his heart rush. He understood how she felt. He wasn't sure either. "But don't you see?" he replied, his voice trembling with excitement. "We just came together for Mr. Evans. If we can do that, we can build something beautiful for ourselves, too." He could feel the flames of determination igniting within him. The crowd's reaction was mixed, some looked inspired, while others still seemed trapped in doubt. Ms. Harper stepped forward, her gentle strength acting as a bridge between Marcus and the rest of the neighborhood. "Sometimes we need someone like Marcus to remind us of who we are," she said, "and to help us see what we can become together." "Yeah," Mr. Thompson added, a hint of a smile on his weathered face. "A garden sounds good. We can use it. And maybe remember to look out for each other, just like we did for Mr. Evans." The shift in energy was palpable. Marcus felt the sea of faces begin to soften, the initial worry easing as people started to nod in agreement. "Okay, Sarah finally said, her voice stronger now. If we're doing this, we should start planning. I have seeds at home. We can use them to start. Great! Marcus exclaimed. Maybe we can meet tomorrow to discuss ideas. We could sketch out a plan for the space and see what we can grow. As they discussed plans and possibilities, a sense of community washed over Marcus. The feeling wasn't just about gardening, it was about connection and belonging. In that moment, he felt the beginnings of something truly special. And yet, an inner voice tangled with his excitement. What if we can't keep it going? The question lingered as he glanced at the faces in front of him, all lit with newfound hope. As the crowd began to disperse, Marcus's heart swelled with joy but also pulsed with anxiety. What would it take to keep that hope alive? Could he really inspire everyone to commit to this garden? He stared at the old oak tree, its branches sturdy and wide. It had stood strong through storms and seasons, and he wondered, could this garden grow to be as resilient? With each step he took back home, the weight of his dream pressed firmly on his shoulders. Could this really be the beginning of something meaningful? Tomorrow, he thought, as he stepped inside, would either confirm his fears or unleash something extraordinary. Would they show up? Would he be ready when they did? The morning sun filtered through Marcus's bedroom window, casting gentle rays that danced on his walls. He lay there for a moment, thoughts circling like a whirlwind. Today was the day. The garden meeting. He gulped, feeling a mix of excitement and dread in the pit of his stomach. Would his neighbors show up? He dressed quickly, throwing on a worn t-shirt and a pair of old sneakers. As he packed a backpack with pencils and paper, he caught a glimpse of his reflection in the mirror. The boy looking back at him had determination written on his face, but also a flicker of fear. Today's the day, he whispered softly to himself. He stepped outside into the crisp morning air, the neighborhood already waking up. Birds chirped in the trees, and a distant lawnmower buzzed to life. When he arrived at the community park, the anticipation made his heart race. The place where laughter echoed and kids played felt different this morning. Today it could become a space for growth, a sanctuary for healing. Marcus reached the familiar old picnic table, a weathered wood that had seen countless summers. As he set out the supplies, he scanned the area. A knot formed in his stomach as he noticed no one had arrived yet. What if everyone changed their minds? Just as self-doubt began to creep in, he heard footsteps and turned. Sarah walked up first, clutching a small bag of seeds in her hands. Sorry I'm late. I had to find these. They're my grandma's favorites. Her smile was warm, and seeing her immediately brightened Marcus's spirits. Hey! It's good to see you. I was starting to think don't worry. She interrupted, her voice cheerful, cutting through his anxious thoughts. I bet everyone will show up. As if on cue, Mr. Thompson emerged, followed by Ms. Harper and a few kids from school, each bringing something special, flowers, tools, snacks. The sight of them made his heart swell. Wow, look at all this! Marcus exclaimed, as they filled the table with supplies. This is amazing! With each passing moment, more neighbors trickled in, bringing laughter and light. The air buzzed with excitement. They began discussing what they wanted to plant, sharing stories of their own gardens from childhood, and Marcus felt the rhythm of the moment shift from anxious to hopeful. Why don't we choose a theme? Ms. Harper suggested, her eyes sparkling. How about a butterfly garden, to attract all those beautiful creatures? People nodded, enthusiasm building. Ideas sprang forth like buds in spring flowers that would bloom in a riot of colors, herbs that would release fragrant scents, and vegetables that would nourish their families. But even amid the growing excitement, Marcus felt the weight of responsibility. Everyone, he said, raising his hand to quiet the buzz. Thanks for being here and wanting to make this happen. But it'll take all of us to keep it going. A hush fell over the group. Everyone was looking at him, and for a moment, doubt clouded his thoughts again. Would it become too much for one person? "Count on me," Sarah said, stepping forward. "We're in this together." And one by one, the community pledged their support. Marcus felt hope ignite in him like a spark, warming his chest. They spent the day brainstorming, sketching plans, and even sharing snacks. With each laugh and smile, Marcus felt his previous fears wash away. This garden project was transforming from a simple idea into a vibrant reality. But as they packed up for the day, a stray thought flickered through Marcus's mind: what challenges lay ahead? Would their commitment waver in the face of adversity? Stepping away from the park and glancing back at the budding friendships they had nurtured, a new feeling blossomed in his chest, a sense of belonging. Yet uncertainty lingered, begging the question: would they find a way to hold on to that eagerness when the novelty faded? As the sun set behind him, coloring the sky in hues of orange and pink, he resolved to keep the momentum going. After the success of the first meeting, tomorrow could hold even greater possibilities. With hope swirling inside him, Marcus took a deep breath and made his way home, ready to face whatever awaited him. Would this garden symbolize not only growth in their community but also growth within themselves? The next day dawned bright and clear, the air still fragrant from the previous evening's rain. Marcus woke up early, a buzz of energy and anticipation surging through him. Today would be the start of the garden that had started as a whisper of a dream. He could already picture the colorful blooms and fragrant herbs. As he dressed, he felt a confidence blooming inside him. After breakfast, he grabbed his backpack again, now filled with sketches of butterfly and flower designs they had come up with. He had even stayed up late the night before thinking of clever ways to bring the community together. Each plan felt like a seed ready to sprout into life. Arriving at the park, Marcus was pleasantly surprised to see chairs set up around the picnic table. A few early birds were already there, chatting and laughing as they waited for the others. Sarah was sitting cross-legged on the grass, her eyes sparkling with emojis of excitement. She waved him over. "I brought more seeds," she said proudly, pulling out a cloth bag filled with colorful packets. "And I even read a book on butterflies. We can paint little signs to guide them." As they worked together, the morning washed over Marcus, filling him with warmth. Children dashed about, gathering sticks and stones for garden markers while parents chatted about the best plants to attract butterflies. Just then, Mr. Thompson approached, holding 24 young plants in small biodegradable pots. "I found these at the farmer's market. Thought they'd be perfect for our garden." His eyes twinkled with mischief. "They even have names: zinnias, marigolds, and cosmos. Quite the party." Excitement rippled through the group as they drew closer to admire the plants. Marcus felt truly proud and grateful for the way everyone came together, each person adding to what would become their shared little slice of paradise. But as they began discussing planting strategies, a shadow slipped across Marcus's heart. What if it didn't work? What if the garden didn't flourish, despite all their efforts? What if a storm destroys it? He blurted out, catching everyone off guard. "Hey, we can't think like that," Sarah said firmly. "We'll take care of it, and we'll learn how to protect it as well." Her words sparked a flicker of hope in Marcus, yet self-doubt lingered. Would they really rally together when challenges arose? Could a small spark of fear extinguish the flames of their hard work? Suddenly, Miss Harper raised her hand, her expression serious. "Let us make a plan," she said, each word deliberate. "With what we've learned together, we can tackle any problem. We might even consider having backup volunteers to help tend the garden if someone can't make it." The idea took root. They discussed building a schedule, outlining who would care for the garden on which days, and how they could support each other when needed. As they planted, the sun climbed higher, casting a golden glow over the freshly disturbed earth. Laughter mingled with the sounds of digging and planting, each moment promising new beginnings. Once their patches were laid out, they leaned back, exhausted but fulfilled. Everyone was smiling, even Marcus. The feeling of unity blended with determination was intoxicating. Yet, beneath that joy lingered a thought. What would happen if they faced a real storm? Perhaps, Marcus realized, it would be more than just the garden that would need protecting. As they packed up to leave, he caught Sarah's eye. She seemed to sense his concern, an understanding passing silently between them. "Whatever comes next, we'll figure it out together," she assured him, her voice confident. Marcus nodded, but deep inside, a question pulsed: when faced with unanticipated storms, would they truly come together to protect what they had built? With the sun setting, painting the sky in hues of violet and gold, he walked home ready to hold on to hope, but aware that tomorrow could bring challenges they hadn't dreamed of yet. Would this garden indeed nurture their dreams, or would it serve as a battleground against adversity? The morning sun streamed through Marcus's window, pulling him from dreams into the reality of a new day. The warmth cradled him as he rolled out of bed. He didn't feel as bright as yesterday, the shadows of doubt creeping in like uninvited guests. He had tossed and turned all night, replaying his fears about the garden. What if it didn't work? What if it brought nothing but heartache? Determined to shake off the gloom, he dressed quickly and grabbed his backpack. Today marked their first real step into the project, and he refused to let fear taint it. At the park, he spotted Sarah again, her energy infectious. She was already setting up the materials, a colorful array of pots and paint. A handful of kids were gathered around her, throwing out names for the bright flowers they would be creating. "Marcus," she called, grinning widely. "We're painting our signs today. Come help." Somehow, her enthusiasm cracked the wall of doubt he had built overnight. As he joined the group, he felt a momentary lift, as if hope had seeped back in. They worked together, laughter spilling into the air like the vibrant paint they smeared on each sign. The children were alive with creative frenzy, each stroke symbolizing their shared vision. But beneath the laughter, Marcus felt a weight. The whispers of fear hovered at the corners of his mind like storm clouds on the horizon. After all, this was just the beginning, and for every inch of progress, there was an equal chance of setback. Then came a moment that shook him. Out of nowhere, dark clouds rolled in, casting a shadow over the park. The wind picked up, shifting the warm day into a cooler hurry. The sudden shift caught everyone's attention. A few looked nervously at the sky, yet Sarah stood firm. "I think it's just passing by," she proclaimed, her voice strong. An uneasy silence fell over the group. They all shared a glance, uncertainty weaving through them like a whisper. Marcus's heart raced. Was this a sign of what was to come? The storms he worried about were materializing right in front of him. "Let us keep going," Miss Harper encouraged, her deep voice cutting through the tense air. "This energy is a part of gardening. Let us show those clouds that we can handle a little wind." Marcus felt a spark of encouragement surging from her words. It was a reminder of the unity they had built. Together, they plunged back into work, focusing on painting the signs and chatting about the future butterflies. Suddenly, the clouds dissolved, revealing rays of sunlight breaking through. The children cheered, delight filtering into the atmosphere. In that moment, Marcus realized that storms, literal or figurative, were just part of life. They could take shelter together, adapt to whatever came their way. As they wrapped up for the day, Marcus felt lighter somehow. Amid fears, laughter, and little victories, there was strength in community. Sarah nudged him. "See? We can do this." He nodded, but the gnawing question remained: if a real storm hit, when the stakes were high, would they still stand strong? The sky blazed orange as they packed all the supplies. Just before saying goodbye, Marcus glanced back at the park. Their budding garden now felt like a promise. Would they nurture it with the same tenacity they showed today? As he walked home, thoughts clouding his mind again, he realized they'd face challenges that would push them to their limits. The next storm was still a question hanging in the air. What would it take to weather it together? The next morning brought a peculiar silence. Marcus woke to the sun spilling over his bed, yet this time it felt different. The shadows were heavier, carrying a weight he hadn't anticipated. He lay there for a few moments longer, nerves swirling in his stomach, replaying the events of yesterday. The garden was supposed to be an adventure, a place of laughter and learning. But now it felt like a precarious tightrope walk, balancing between hope and fear. After a quick breakfast, he wandered out, the crisp air almost sharp against his skin. The park loomed ahead, the vibrant colors of yesterday still fresh in his mind, but today, his feet dragged. What if the garden had only been a fleeting moment of joy? Would they be able to protect it from whatever storms lay ahead? At the park, the scene was a mix of excitement and apprehension. The kids were already buzzing, their faces lit with determination as they gathered around Sarah. She stood tall, ready to lead them into their next adventure. "Hey! Look at our signs." She beamed, gesturing proudly at the bright creations lined up. "They look amazing, right?" Marcus nodded, forcing a smile. They were amazing. But while the kids marveled at their work, he felt the ache of worry return. As they dove into the day, planting roots for the flowers, he found himself lagging behind, hands dirted but heart heavy. He watched the kids dance with joy, digging their hands into the earth, and felt the pang of something missing in him. Just as the sun broke through the clouds again, illuminating their work, he felt a surge of connection, a flicker of the hope he had yesterday. "Marcus, look!" One of the kids yelled, pointing at a brand new sprout breaking free from the dark soil. The group erupted into cheers, their laughter ringing out like bells. Marcus's heart warmed as he saw the excitement. They celebrated this small victory with a childlike purity that was contagious. "Here, plant this one." Sarah handed him a seedling. "It's your turn to nurture it." With a deep breath, he took the seedling, feeling its delicate roots in his palm. Something shifted in that moment. The childlike wonder around him began to chip away at his doubts. Perhaps nurturing wasn't just about the garden, it was about them too. But just as they planted their seedlings, a chill gust swept through, shivering the leaves and rattling his thoughts. Was this the storm he had feared? "All right, team. Let us keep our spirits high. We can handle everything weather throws at us." Ms. Harper shouted, clapping her hands together. Her words echoed in Marcus's mind. Could he really weather this storm of doubts? He hesitated, hands trembling slightly on the seedling. He needed to dig deeper, not just into the soil, but into himself. Before he could dwell too long, thunder rumbled in the distance, an ominous warning. The group paused, glancing nervously at one another, faces painted with uncertainty. Sarah met Marcus's eyes, her expression steady and confident. "We can't let a little thunder take our dream away." As the clouds crept closer, Marcus swallowed hard. They had to make a choice. They could let fear dictate their actions or take a stand together, storm or no storm. With renewed determination, he planted the seedling and shot a glance towards the gathering clouds. "Yeah. We've got this. Let us show them what we can do." As thunder rolled once more, something remarkable happened. The kids cheered louder, echoing the courage he was beginning to feel again. Together, they danced around the garden, laughter spilling like sunshine, infusing life into what could have been a gloomy day. But would their spirit be enough to brave the storms that loomed ahead? Would they hold on to each other tightly when future challenges came? Marcus felt the storm brewing outside, but inside, a fire was ignited. The real struggle was just beginning. What awaited them on this journey? The next day dawned with a weight that hung heavy in the air. Marcus awoke to the sound of rain, a gentle drumming that made his heart pound. As he gazed out the window, the gray clouds hung low, casting shadows that mirrored the tightness in his chest. Today could prove critical for their garden, a project that felt like a fragile thread binding the community together. With lingering doubts circling in his mind, he dressed quickly, the excitement of yesterday dimmed by the rain's relentless rhythm. He had called for the community to gather at the park, but would anyone show up with the weather looming like a dark specter? Would they still breathe life into their dream? As he stepped outside, the ground squished beneath his sneakers, each step feeling like a choice weighed down by uncertainty. But as he neared the park, he spotted familiar figures gathering near the picnic table. A flicker of warmth hitched in his heart. "Hey! We're here." It was Sarah's cheerful voice cutting through the gloom. Marcus's spirit lifted as he watched others arrive. Mr. Thompson carried heavy tarps and Miss Harper had brought fresh fruit, ready to feed everyone after their hard work. "I thought maybe we could use a little protection from the rain," Mr. Thompson said, unfurling the tarps. "No storm can take us down." Laughter erupted from the group, the warm chatter melting the morning chill. As they settled in, Marcus felt a rush of gratitude. Each face reflected a shared determination. Together, they could brave anything, not just this drizzle but the storms of life that loomed larger than clouds. With the tarp set up and snacks laid out, Sarah turned to Marcus. "Ready?" He took a deep breath, nodding. "Let us do this." As they began to plant, the rain softened from a downpour to a light mist, like nature itself was reminding them how resilience could thrive even in unfavorable conditions. Each seedling they placed was a testament that they could still find beauty and hope amid uncertainty. Suddenly, the playground music echoed from a group of kids laughing nearby, and before long, Marcus found himself complicit in the spontaneous fun. The rain drizzled, but the energy surged as they played games, splashing through puddles, cheeks flushed with joy. Moments like these hung thick with life, laughter echoing against the gloom. With each smile shared, the garden project became less of a burden and more about community, a vibrant tapestry woven from each person's hopes, fears, and dreams. But as they returned to their garden, a new tension loomed. Thunder rumbled ominously again, a reminder of the challenges ahead. What if the storm gets worse? A voice murmured, flickers of apprehension pulsing through the group. "Marcus," Sarah looked at him, her eyes steady. "What do we do?" Marcus felt the collective gaze resting on him, and for a moment, doubt threatened to unravel him. "Okay," he began, his voice strong, "we've built this together. If the clouds grow angry, we don't back down. We lean on each other, just like we did today. We share tools or raincoats, whatever we have." He felt the energy shift around him. "If we can gather here in the rain, we can face anything. We don't need a bright sun to thrive. That garden will grow because we believe in it." A wave of determination pulsed among the group, the words igniting a bond. "Yes. Together," echoed Sarah, her spirit lighting up like fireworks. "Even when it's tough, we don't give up," Mr. Thompson added, pulling everyone in for an impromptu huddle. They spent the next few moments solidifying plans, rotating who looked after the garden, creating a secret group chat for ongoing support, setting schedules for the week ahead. With each resolution, Marcus felt purpose plant roots deep within him. As they wrapped up the day, raindrops began to dance playfully around them, tapping on leaves and dirt. Their laughter joined the sound, creating a melody of hope ringing above the storm's whispers. Walking home that evening, Marcus felt lighter and more buoyed than he had in days. For the first time in a while, the shadows that had clung to him began to fade. He understood now that storms would come, both in their garden and beyond. But true strength didn't lie in avoiding the rain, it lay in facing it together. Every challenge they weathered only fortified the ties that bound them as a community. As he stepped inside, he turned back for a final glimpse of the park, a kaleidoscope of colors unnoticed by the storm, alive and thriving. Tomorrow, he told himself. Tomorrow would bring whatever it would, and he wasn't afraid anymore. This was just the beginning. Make sure you're part of this journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your support is everything. Comment below with your reactions and feelings. Let us know how this story resonated with you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of keeping this community alive.